Yeah.
What did you learn about Buddhism? Your short time there.
Yeah.
Now she's shitting on me too. What kind of?
No, she's just asking a question. What did you learn about Buddhism?
Like putting me on the spot. Now I can't even think now.
You can't even think. Come on, you just took this course.
The 4 noble truths. Okay?
What are the 4 noble truths?
The first one. God, I can't even think about it. It's about suffering. Yeah.
You would have written a whole thesis on this. It would be embedded in your brain, like engraved in your brain. There's no way you would forget this, especially when you just took the course.
That was like a year ago. I can't remember.
It was a year ago.
Don't come to me, man. Don't come to me. I can't help it.
It's only 4 noble truths. 4.
I can't think when people
can't think of
put
4
me against
noble
the wall.
truths.
I can't remember at this time because everyone's coming at me.
Everyone's coming at you.
I'm in a defensive
always playing
posture.
the victim. See, your light skin privilege doesn't get you anywhere now, does it? 4 noble truths is all you have to know, and you can't even tell us one.
Oh,
I'm at U of T.
I remember. I just woke up like an hour ago. I had oatmeal and blueberries. What do you want from my life?
The guy did a crossword puzzle on Buddhism, and he thinks he knows it all until we put him on the spot. He doesn't know shit.
Said I knew something.
What's Buddha's real name? Buddha's not his name, man. That's his title.
I know. You told me.
Buddha's name?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? You wrote a whole thesis on this. Come on.
I'm Jason Port. It comes to me naturally. I can't, I don't know why I could defend myself against 10 people, but when I do, it just happens, okay? I can't help it, okay? What do you
Wow. This is expected from Nathan. He doesn't know Buddha's real name. He doesn't know the name of his wife. Doesn't know the name of his kids. He doesn't even know Buddha's best friend. Like, you don't know any of this shit.
Buddha was rich?
Yeah, well, everybody knows that. He was a prince. Everyone knows that.
At least you remember that. That was good.
That's like saying Jesus was born in a manger. That's easy shit.
True.
Man, I put on headphones. What did I do to you, man? What did I do?
It's the headphones. That's what's bothering me. Yeah. When you start doing the headphone stuff, at least this time you didn't like go out and get a fade and get your hair all done up and everything. Just to do an episode. That's what he usually does. Try to shine me up. Like he always does this. And I try to tell the guys, like, yo, bro, I'm not coming in all proper. And you coming up like this, like you trying to make me look bad.
First of all, I cut my own hair. So
yeah, you do a hell of a good job when you do it.
Oh, wow.
I'm talking like near perfect. Does this every time. Except for today. Except for today.
Down for me. That's good. That's all right.
Yeah. That's Nathan, though, That's Nathan. He does this.
No. This is what it. So I usually have shows on Friday because I do stand-up comedy. So I will tighten up my hair, and we do this podcast on Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, my hair's gonna be done up. So what's the problem? What's the problem?
Okay, when you break it down that way, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess you're right. But what about the old days when we were doing it during the weekdays? He did the same thing.
That's during COVID. What are you talking about?
During COVID. Guy, we started shooting this stuff last year. I think we're done with COVID last year. See? No excuses. As he thinks about the 4 noble truths.
Suffering. What else? Second one is
sorry.
What do you know about the noble truths? Huh?
Nigga, I didn't take the course.
A long time ago.
I never said I was a Buddha expert.
Yeah, you sure act like it.
Yeah, because I know a lot more than you do. When you went to U of T and took theology or something. What did you take?
I mean, I was good. I went, but doesn't mean I was good. I passed 2 courses. Doesn't mean I was good.
Pass the course, really? Like, how did you pass? What did you have to do?
I wrote papers.
Up on one leg
and listen
and wave a hand? What do you have to do?
Well, that too. That was part of the requirements. But whatever. I'm just saying, it was an experience. Just wasn't for me.
It wasn't for you. So you ended up quitting university? What?
I dropped out because I just after.
So hold a sec. So you've been holding up your head up high, like puffing up your chest and everything, and all the time you're a university dropout?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
But this is what happened. The first 2 courses I took, I did well in, and then the next 2 courses, I was going through
What were
some
the two
stuff.
courses?
It was what was it called again? Film cinema studies, and then the Buddhist psychology thing. And it's just I hated it. I liked the Buddhism class, but it was just like it was too fast. I thought because it was just 1 credit or like half a credit course or whatever, so it only lasted like 1 semester. So it was rushed. So every week we had some new thing we had to learn. It was like I couldn't keep up. And the other one, I hated my TA, I hated the teacher, I hated the students. Well, not all the students, but just like I just hated my TA in that.
Stephanie, you hearing this? If he was really in university paying that big tuition, he
Yeah.
because he hates the professor,
Yeah.
he could just step out,
Hates everybody. He hates the
hates
program.
everybody. And he's
Hates
like, I'm done with this.
I don't even know. Like,
Look,
I'm
I was
actually
going.
upped out. You know, I
was going
Maybe he
through
was
a-
on some kind of light skin scholarship. Because I
Nah,
don't
like,
think he just walked away from that so easily.
work. It didn't work. I don't know.
I just hated it. Well, I didn't hate it. I just hated my TA. I was going through a rough time, and I didn't think it was worth it. Like I chose the wrong courses, and I went to the office. The people in the office who were like trying to like help you
Sounds
choose
like
your
high
courses,
school.
they weren't helpful either. So it's just they're so mean. It's like what the fuck?
Like,
What's
mean
going
to you?
on? Yeah,
You don't know who
it's
you
just
are, bro? That you're the light skinned guru? You didn't tell him all that? Man,
You
I
have
wouldn't put up with that.
you gotta keep your card with you at all times.
mm.
Just flash it without even speaking. You know, people get it.
Yeah, people will get it. You know what?
I like comedy for Nathan. Nathan is good with the stand up. That's good.
Oh,
That's more.
you got his first compliment.
Shut up.
I would never tell Nathan that. A few weeks ago, Nathan told a joke and it made me laugh. I couldn't tell him. I just chuckled. I went, I held it in. That joke's kind of funny still. Okay.
Yeah, it's better than him dropping out of school and all the programs he tries.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's passionate about that.
You know? At least with the comedy, he's consistent.
He's consistent. That's true. He's consistent when it comes to the comedy. But boy, that guy can't stay in high school. I'll tell you that right now. Because all the time he's talking about high school. That is not university. That's Central Tech stuff. That is not U of T.
Shut up. I got credits. Leave me alone.
If you're gonna
I
talk
got
about
credits.
university, at least Google it and find out what happens in university. Like you're talking some bullshit right now.
You know what? I might go back and choose the right course.
Choose the right
I'll go
courses,
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. Well, I think we have an audio issue here, though. Like I'm hearing myself okay, but you know, it's me. But is Stephanie cutting out, or are you cutting out? Can
I
you hear?
think Stephanie sometimes goes in and out a little bit.
Oh yeah, but you're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope her.
I need to get headphones. I need to get the headphones and the mic. See, when I come back, I'm gonna have the whole setup like Nathan. You know, headphones and the
Yeah.
mic.
But when you come
That's what I'm
back,
missing.
if this doesn't work out, I don't think you'll ever be able to come back.
Right?
This episode's got to work. This is featuring you. Unless you can talk to us with sign language, we can keep you on, right?
Do you have headphones in your car? Like the iPhone headphones?
No.
Damn. All right.
This may be a hard one to do. She's gonna have to do a lot of yes and a lot of no. Like, so how's the energy work?
I'm like, and I'll do one of these.
A lot of winking and all of that.
Sign languages.
Maybe we should tell the audience that she's a mute, and it will all work out.
There you
It'll
go.
be our first mute guest. Right? I think that'd be a great idea. Or that interpreter. What's that sign language girl? The girl that was working with Rihanna at the Super Bowl. She was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she was amazing. Oh, she was amazing.
She was great, eh?
I'll be happy.
Yeah. If we get her just to translate everything that you're saying, that'd be perfect. I'll have her on every time.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to find out what her name is. I don't know her name.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome. She was definitely awesome. So let's see what we can get from out of Stephanie. First, I want to start off with we're talking a week ago about your for the audience who don't know Stephanie Mercury. She is a visual artist. You have to check out her artwork. You have to really check it out. See, and there she doesn't have to say anything either. All she her talent speaks for itself, right? But outside of her art, Stephanie's been blessed with a gift of spiritual energy. You can call it chi, you can call it prana, you can call it Reiki energy, you can call it life force energy. But Stephanie seems to have a great amount of this energy in within her body and how she uses it and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to, if you can, through sign language, if you can just tell Nathan, give Nathan a quick rundown what you're all about in regards to this energy and when you discovered it and some of the things that happened to you with this type of energy that you are able to cultivate on some level. But I don't know how, it's been years. So
Yes.
that you've been working with this thing, right? But you can just give a quick rundown if you can.
No problem. I realized I had I guess Reiki chi energy when I was actually attending one of your courses, 9 for the Mind,
Back in
way
the
back.
day.
Yeah, way back in the day. So I was in
16 years
class.
ago.
Yeah, and I was having a massive headache, migraine headache, and then Morgan comes over and does Reiki on me, and that was just mind blowing. That changed my whole life because within an instant, my headache went away. And I don't get a lot of headaches, but when I do get them, they're very severe. So I was just like, oh my gosh, what did you just do? And you laughed and it was like, it's Reiki. I was like, oh, I gotta look into this. And so as I looked into it more, I realized that I actually contained a lot of energy. So much so that I actually was practicing one day trying to harness my energy and I end up burning my own self. I end up having like 3rd-degree burns in my palms because I released way too much. It kind of reminded me of that cartoon, the Dragon Ball Z, where yeah, where they can produce all that chi, and so it was mind blowing to me.
Did
So
you see Nathan's face a second ago? As you said that, Nathan's face went. He wasn't ready for that. He wasn't ready for that. He thought he was going to get some I don't know, some surface stuff, and then he heard that he and he tried to hold it in, but I caught it. I caught it, Nathan.
It's real. I thought this stuff was only for cartoons and for the movies, but you can really honestly harness your energy. And we're all like magnets, all people. Some people have it more, so it's turned on more, and other people it's dormant. But you can find ways to activate that chi. And with the chi, I use it to heal myself and others with minor stuff. Like if they're feeling pain anywhere in their body, I can try to see if I can alleviate that.
Yeah, because right now you don't actually practice. This is just stuff you do on your day-to-day basis.
This is something I didn't even know that I had the ability to do. Yeah. So it's setting me on a journey now to see how much more I could master this ability, and it's just to see what I can do with it. I don't know, but it's exciting.
So you're the black woman Goku? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. I am the black Goku in the flesh. Yeah. Don't mess with me, Nathan. Don't mess with me.
Yeah, you better be careful. Even from you just saying that, Stephanie can do you a thing, bro. Better watch it. Yeah, but that energy it's a serious energy though. And Nathan, I was telling Stephanie about our experiences with Master Lee and all that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she was very intrigued and wants to check him out. I don't know if she wants to like challenge him or she just wants to go there for an actual session or something.
You guys gonna like fight for the world? What's going on? I mean, you're the Black Goku now. Like, I don't know what's going on. Are you gonna have
Imagine that the Black Goku versus Master Lee. There can only be one.
There can only be one.
May the battle begin.
One question: when Morgan was doing the Reiki on you, did he make you throw up?
No.
Huh. Okay.
But he did tell me I have to stay if I want to learn.
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to Nine for the Mind. That was an amazing course. Learned
Yeah,
so
Nine
much.
for the Mind. Yeah, that was one of the programs that I was doing at Malvern Family Resource Center. All my colleagues thought that Nine for the Mind was a cult. So yeah, they saw you guys walking in and they said something's going on here. This is not any regular program. And I admit it wasn't a regular program, so everybody was afraid to come into that program. Because like Morgan's running a cult secretly in our center. Like, no, I'm just working with special people with special minds and telling them special things, but no, there's no cult here. This is like 2 years before meeting Nathan, actually. I met Nathan like 2 years later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. We called it Morganism. That's what we called it.
Yeah, that was like the running joke. Back in the day, Ricky's the first person, Ricky Francis was the first person to start calling whatever I do Morganism. And then Femi took on the name. And until this very day, if she hits me up, she says, "Hey Morganism, what's going on?" Years later, right?
You unlocked a lot of minds, and especially at a time where people weren't really paying attention to the kids who were coming from certain areas, certain walks of life, and you actually got them to stay and come back every week, and I was impressed too. How did work?
We did a lot of stuff together too.
Yeah.
Many field trips, some wild adventures, and every Thursday they would meet up with us. We'd meet up with me, and we would do Nine for the Mind. That's where we met Sajipin, Nathan.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where Sajipin, at the time, he was like, gosh, how old was he at the time? 14 years old or something like that, 14, 15 years old at the time. Yeah, and all that. So yeah, we go way back. Jermaine, who else was there?
Juan.
Juan. And Conroy.
Conroy, yes, I was trying to remember his legal name.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what's the legal name.
And then it was so good because we were always competing with each other to see who would be unlocking, things faster. So it was kind of a competition. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that makes sense now because Jermaine was really on that tip.
Yeah.
Trying to activate his energy, his Kundalini energy and all that, right? From back in the day.
Yeah, he went all the way.
Yeah, and Conroy is the dancer guy. He was like a choreographer, dancer type of guy, and he ended up working at the spot later on. Yeah. And then there was a group of other guys like Tramar, Jacob, of course, Sajipin, and Selection. Skinny Balls, remember Skinny Balls? That's Selection.
So it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, and I'm missing some, but there's a few other people, but that was the core group. We were the ones that went and outside of the group went and ventured off and experimented and tried different things. Yeah, different things. Wink, wink.
The breaks happening with meditation. It was just amazing. Remember one guy was crying, when he meditated, and it's really good. Things that you just didn't think would happen. Calming mind and being still. It's amazing. Yeah.
Those were some good times. Just thinking about them is like, wow. And that was only within a 2-year period.
It was. And I think also too, if you look at astrology, that was a time when we were actually entering the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius.
Yeah. So the mind. Prior to 2012, right?
Right. Yes. So that activated it too. So we were all about the Mayan calendar and what's going to happen. And we need our powers before everything happens.
I was the only one saying, yo, guys, everything's going to be fine. Nothing's going to happen. You don't know that. You don't know that. I was like, no, I think everything's going to be fine.
So that actually
You don't know that. Yeah, that was a good time. And after that, when that whole thing shut down, we started up another group, which was called Sight Beyond Sight, which you came to a few times. And then that went on a whole other journey. Oh my gosh, that was insane. So yeah, we go way back. There's years of history on this, Nathan.
Definitely.
But Nathan, of course, he's been a part of this too with Sight Beyond Sight, which he's been a part of for years. Even though it was a time period Nathan dropped off for like a long time. I don't know where this guy went. I think he was gone for like a good 3 years or something.
He was in university.
Yeah, that's right. He was in university. I totally forgot about that. Trying to get his degree. Some good times. So I wanted to challenge you on something then, Stephanie. I wrote some stuff down. and these are things that I may have spoken about when we were doing the program. But one of the things I've always been saying to people in regards to spirituality, non-duality, spiritual enlightenment, my argument has always been that the whole entire universe, or the multiverse, whatever you want to call it, it's all created by one thought. This is going to bust Nathan's brain right now, so I'm going to slow down. I'll say it again, nice and slow. So the whole entire universe, or the multiverse, if you want to call it that, all of it is created by one thought. Now, just before anyone says anything, just think about your own thoughts and how many thoughts you have per day. Like, we have thousands and thousands of stuff going in our heads every day, until we pass on, right? So I'm just talking about one thought within God's mind, right? The one thought in God's mind, within God's mind, is creating all of this, the whole entire universe, or the multiverse. One thought. When that thought goes away, the universe will cease to exist.
Yes.
Or
that was like a really big concept for me when I was first getting into non-duality. It was just like, wow, we're so connected, it's unbelievable. It's just that oneness of it all. It's, for me, I'm still trying to fathom, how that's even possible. But I am happy that I'm a part of the thought. I tell you that. I'm very, very happy that
you're part of that thought, eh?
Yes.
But this is where it gets trippy. And Nathan, if you have to cover your ears, I don't blame you, because I know this is, because after that Buddhism 101, I don't know if you can handle this. But
headphones, man, I'm good. I'm strapped in. This guy asking questions like he's a watcher from the MCU or whatever. Shut up, Morgan. I can answer your question.
So you gotta refer back to comic books. The Watcher. That's a good one though. But think about this though. All right, because as much as Stephanie just said that she's a part of it, my argument is also that you're the one who's giving off that one thought. So both are true. So you are a part of it, as the character Stephanie, playing the role of Stephanie within this body, within this time period, within this world. But at the same time, the essence behind what Stephanie is the one that's creating this one thought, that's creating everything into existence. What do you have to say about that, Nathan?
What if
you can refer to your comic books if you like. The Watcher.
I might. I will. You know my references well. But it's but the thing is, what if you said that fuck, what did you say? You said at the beginning of this, like, what's the thought? The thought, what if he's not thinking? What if he's trying to remember the thought and he's just constantly thinking of thoughts he's trying to remember? You can see I got nothing, okay? I'm trying to make this shit up.
You're onto something. As crazy as that sounded for a second, you had something there. Because you think about it. There's no way you yourself is just having one thought. You're having multiple thoughts, right? All right. So if you took that and used that as a reference in regards to the ground of all being, right? It's also having multiple thoughts too. But our universe, or our multiverse, that's just one of his thoughts is only it equates to just the universe that we're in. I'm not even talking about all the other thoughts that God would be having, because think about it. In our time, our linear time, how fast do thoughts pop in and out of your mind?
Nanoseconds.
Like, yeah, they say nanoseconds, right? And I just want to make sure that's the right term. Nano is the right term, because I don't even know. Is it nanoseconds?
Yes.
Okay.
I took a couple classes, so I would know. Yeah, yes, nanoseconds.
Good. Thank you, Nathan. I don't know what we would do without you. So nanoseconds, all right? So nanoseconds, all right? So as God is sitting there, like whatever, throughout its day, because it's not some being with his hands behind his back just chilling in the grass staring at the sun. It's nothing like that. But just say God is having all these thoughts, right? Having these multiple thoughts that are happening within nanoseconds, right? Throughout the entire day. So a thought comes and goes, right? So just imagine from God's standpoint, I'm not even talking at the highest level, but I'm talking at the causal level, right? At the causal level. So from God's perspective, from the causal level, that thought came and went within nanoseconds, which from our perspective, that is billions and billions and billions or trillions and trillions of years from our standpoint, right?
Yes.
And then human beings within that within that vastness is only like a, I don't know what you want to call it, a nanosecond within that, right? So we're only just trying to perceive billions and billions and trillions in years, or whatever you want to call it, light years, whatever, you know. Cosmology is not my field, but you get the gist of what I'm talking about. All right. So from God's standpoint, from the causal standpoint anyway, right, that the universe that we're in, right, that we reside in right now, already ceased to exist from its standpoint. We're just in it, living through that nanosecond that God is having, if you want to call it that, right? Because this gets tricky when we say God and all that stuff, because I've gone even beyond that to realize that not even that is happening. But from a causal standpoint, trying to use our human concepts, that would be the closest I can get to that. So just imagine that, right? And again, we have time within time within time within time within our universe, because the time that we go by, that's not universal time, right? So if you can just imagine how quick that is from God's standpoint, barely a thought. And you don't even catch all your thoughts within your mind, right? They come and go, they come and go. You're not even like comprehending all the thoughts that are going through your head. There's ones that stand out because there's ones that are pressing, or for whatever reason, like, you know, something you could be dealing with trauma, which could be a type of thought that you're just focusing on and dwelling on for a good portion of your day, right? And then you have memories, past memories of good things that happened to you. And then you have stuff that are happening right now in the present. And you could be thinking about the future of things that haven't happened yet, right? All that stuff is happening, right? And our universe, or what you want to call that, like that, which is trillions and trillions of years from our standpoint, right? And what I'm trying to say, and Nathan, I want you to take this in, that same God that is doing all that is you. So Nathan gives me the same response every time. I don't think he even gives a shit. I don't think he even's taking in what I'm trying to say here.
I got it. I'm trying to get that.
You got it. I don't even get it. What do you mean you got it?
If you don't even get it, how do you expect me to get it? What kind of?
Well, at least try. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm trying.
Make the effort.
Got a bunch of dumb thoughts, but I don't want to like say it and look like an idiot. I don't know.
But in the moment of a non-dual experience, you get it in that moment. It's just hard to grasp it when you come back into your relative self, right? But in that moment, when it all goes down, you get it. Right? I shouldn't even call that non-dual, because that's still causal. That's still causal. But there's different levels to this. So sometimes when people are talking about non-dual, they're actually talking about causal experiences as opposed to non-dual. So it gets tricky. People use non-dual incorrectly a lot of times when I'm listening to people when they're talking about spiritual experiences. Not all of them are non-dual, because a non-dual experience has to be no distinction between two things. All right. So as long as a person has an experience and there's this distinction, it isn't non-dual yet. So people may be talking in the causal level or lower. Causal after causal. Prior to causal, it's subtle, and then prior to subtle is gross, and that's our waking everyday experience, physical matter, all that stuff, right? So
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thought being conscious, the thought itself, is it conscious or is it unconscious?
Is thought itself conscious or unconscious?
Of itself.
Of itself? Yeah.
It's conscious of itself. Okay.
Yeah, it's conscious of itself. Yeah, it's definitely conscious of itself, and unconscious too. Because within that thought, as you know, we have conscious sentient beings, and you also have things that are non-sentient. Right? Like if you're referring to a rock and things of that sort, even though some will argue that it is sentient. It depends on who you talk to, and it depends on the perspective, right? And that's all happening within our universe. So consciousness itself, so a thought itself is conscious and unconscious, but that thought is consciousness with a capital C. Yeah, just to make a distinction between consciousness with a capital C versus consciousness that people would say is within a sentient being.
Okay.
Yeah, all of that is made up of consciousness with a capital C. So now Nathan doesn't even know where to go with this. That's the same look he had when he did his first exam at university.
Well, shut. You know, the thought that I was thinking is that when it just reminded me when you're talking about the universe, it just reminded me of like rappers from like the early days of rap when they talk about the universe. The universe, the God coming through with the thoughts. That's how they used to talk about, like superheroes and stuff. They're just I was walking down the street and the universe hit me in my feet. So I think of that, but it just.
So what were these guys talking about back then?
I can't remember, but I just remember I was watching a documentary on that, but it just reminded me when you started talking about the universe and the MCU and all that stuff. Not the Marvel universe, but sorry, the universe, our universe, or multi-universes and questions and the consciousness or whatever. I look, I'm rambling. Just don't forget, just Stephanie, you have any questions? Please.
Well, I've been asking the questions.
Yeah, she's been doing this, Nathan. Come on, keep up.
But
he's right though, but the universe thing. People use, because here's the thing, even the word universe, the term universe, people use that differently. Sometimes when people are saying universe, they don't mean the universe. They just mean, like, what's an example? I'm trying to think of an example that would make sense. But you hear people say like, yeah, the universe was on my side or something like that.
Yes.
So yeah, and they're not wrong in what they're saying. It's just they may not be talking about the same thing. So when the person says the universe is with me or on my side, are they talking about the universe that they're in, or are they just talking about their realm of reality? Because universe has different definitions. Right? When I'm talking about the universe, I'm actually trying to talk about the whole entire universe. When someone else uses universe, they probably just mean universe as a conscious being is with me, is on my side, is protecting me. The universe is looking out for me.
Yes.
Type of thing.
Is that kind of selfish?
Maybe thinking of the universe itself, but sometimes people just use the word universe to refer to God.
Don't you think that's kind of like selfish? That the universe is so large, it's so vast, and this thing's just looking out for this guy named Nathan. Just
looking up for this one guy.
Looking up for this one guy.
From a human perspective. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I want people to really take in how vast the universe is. Like our solar system. Forget about our solar system. Our galaxy. It's like a speck of dust, not even in the vastness of the entire universe. Yet, this whole entire universe is looking out for your ass in a time of trouble. But here's the thing, though. The universe is not human. So why would the universe have human capabilities? So one can argue, why can't the universe do that? It's one way to look at it, right? And the other way you can look at it as, okay, why would the universe itself have biases? Why protect you, not the other guy? Right? There's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it too, okay, just say we got rid of the word universe and just called it God, right? And you play for a sports team and you pray to God to help you to win. And God grants you the wish. So is God choosing sides as well? And why would God care so much, or the universe care so much, about which team wins? Unless it's for some kind of a greater good. These are things that people, if I had that conversation with a Christian, they would pray for me. Like, how dare you even question something like that? But it needs to be questioned because some of the stuff we say doesn't really make sense.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
From what I know personally, and also what I've learned from my spiritual teachers, but I know this personally, is the universe itself is neutral, but not the same type of neutral in how we look at neutral. But it's an ultra it's an ultra neutral universe. And I'm just talking about the physical universe. It's just the physical universe alone. The universe doesn't necessarily care or not care about your well-being, because you, as the well-being, is the individual representation of the entire universe. Whatever you do as an individual being, that's a representative of the entire universe. If you want to throw determinism in this thing, that is the doing, that is the will of the entire universe.
The whole universe. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, I was just going to say that's the will of the entire universe. Now, one will argue and say, so are you saying that we don't have free will? But again, you are the physical or the individual manifestation of the entire universe. So it's not taking away your free will. You're the one who has free will. So whatever happens to you, positive or negative, it's your doing. Because you are the entire universe. It's just I'm seeing you as a manifestation, as an individual. Now, your will doesn't mean that is the will of Nathan, and Nathan is the one calling the shots. I'm not really saying that, but the essence of what Nathan is calling the shots on a causal level. I'm not even talking about non-dual. I'm just talking about the causal level, right? Is making all the shots. This thing is so complicated and so complex that who can actually fathom that in their minds, right? So you yourself is the physical manifestation, or the individual manifestation of the entire universe. Any move that you make, any action that you take, any behaviors that you have, whatever, is the will of the universe, manifesting through what you call the individual known as Nathan, or known as Stephanie or Morgan. It's just that part of the will, that part of free will isn't governed by you, Nathan, as Nathan. That's more in the superconscious mind, which is still you. Just Nathan's consciousness is not aware of that.
Okay.
At least not in this state. He can be aware of that in another state, but in this normal present waking state, he's not aware of that. But he can be in a state where he can be totally aware that he's calling all the shots, and everything that's ever happened, he caused that. On a deeper unconscious level, he's causing all of that.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
So if you are a representation of the universe, you don't necessarily need the universe, because you are the universe. It's always, how people will say, like you were saying, like the universe is lined up with me, or it's kind of like when they say those things, it's outside of themselves. But what you're saying is it's all one. Like we are the representation of this energy that we're hoping to listen to us or support us in some way. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, and I'll say they're both true, because you can't do anything when you say that, then you don't need the universe. You can't do anything without the universe. But remember, you and the universe are one and the same, right? You can also flip it the other way. The universe can't do anything without you. And then one will say, yeah, but one day you will die and the universe carries on. Yes, but in the time period that you were there, that was needed for the universe to operate. And also, too, that's just your physical body dying, right? Your soul never dies, right? So, and plus, after your physical body dies, especially for those who believe in reincarnation, that carries on physically. You carry on to your next body, The soul carries on from body to body, if you want to go with that standpoint. So if that is true, the universe is just as in need of you as you are with the universe, because without the universe, you can't exist. And without you, the universe can't exist. People think because you're in the universe that you're dependent on the universe. Yes, from a physical standpoint, that's true, right? But the two are one and the same. The universe can't survive and do anything without you. And again, I'm not talking about Nathan and Stephanie per se. I'm talking about the essence of what Nathan and Stephanie, what you are. Because this thing, the essence of what we are, is omnipresent and is non-local. It's not stationed in one location. It is all locations happening right now simultaneously, past, present, and future.
So,
oh, go ahead, Nathan. I thought you were drooling at this point.
shut up, man. Oh, nah, that's my thought, man. Fuck. Now I feel like the universe. This is bullshit. Okay, so you're telling me, okay, so the whole universe is neutral, right? So universe is Switzerland, all right? So universe is just not Switzerland.
Switzerland
Not taking
is
no
known as a
sides.
neutral place. People there are neutral.
I mean during World War II. This is the reference I'm using.
Oh,
so
you guys are history buff all of a sudden. Okay.
Oh wow, that's great.
Must have learned that at U of T.
You're telling me that the universe wouldn't survive? It doesn't need us, but it needs us. So it's kind of like the music industry, where it wouldn't survive.
You wouldn't survive without the artist?
Yes.
That's a way to look at it. Yeah, you think about it that way. You know, that's actually, you know what? Sometimes Nathan comes up with some gems.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was
Think about that. Okay, let's take the music industry representing the universe as a metaphor for the universe. And the music industry can't be an industry without its artists.
true.
Right? Even though the music industry threatens you all the time, say, hey, you're not selling any records, we're gonna kick you off the label and all that stuff. And they kick people off the label all the time. They do all that. But overall, a music industry cannot survive without artists, without music artists. All right, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And there's many other examples too. We can use even Stephanie. We can use the reference in regards to art and the art industry, right? The art industry is nothing without its artists, right? The two are one and the same. Try to have an industry without the very thing that makes it an industry. And the universe is the same way. And remember, when I say this, I'm not just talking about human beings here. I'm talking about everything within it that makes up what we call the universe, right? The universe is nothing without these things. And energy can't be created or destroyed. So even if you took a rock, a meteorite or something, you destroyed it, yeah, you just changed the physical properties of that meteorite. It's still there within the universe. It's just is not in the form of a rock, something that's solid, something that's shape and form. But all the energy that makes up that matter is still there. Right? The universe loses nothing. The universe, there's nothing you can take away from the universe, and there's nothing you can give to it. And that's the beautiful thing, that in the moment of enlightenment, when that is attained in that moment, you realize that nothing can be taken away from you, and nothing can be taken away from you, and nothing can be gained. And that's why in that moment you feel totally complete, because nothing can be lost and nothing can be gained from anything. Hence why in that moment people laugh. Tears of joy, realizing that there's nothing for me to lose and there's nothing for me to gain.
The universe is a broke man, just walking around, nothing to lose, nothing to gain, just walking around and just happy as shit, just walking, just
but here's the thing: the universe is neither happy or sad. Because remember, now I'm talking about non-dual here, about non-duality here. It's both. So there's no distinction between happy or sad. There's no distinction between wealthy or broke or anything like that stuff. All those things are the same thing. Hence why there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Right? It's all the same thing. You can't take anything from the universe and add it back in. You can't do any of that, because it's all the same thing. And this is why in the moment of enlightenment, there's nothing to see. Because there's from the universe standpoint, at least from the non-dual standpoint, there's nothing outside of it for it to look at. Outside and inside is the same thing. Subjective and objective are the same thing. There's nothing to see. You can't see yourself, but you can be totally 100% aware of yourself, which people will refer that to seeing. So it's not seeing with your eyes. When they say seeing, they're talking about awareness. The ultimate awareness that a person can attain in that moment. Right? So everything that's happening in the universe happens the way it's supposed to happen, because that's how the universe functions. The thing is, within our minds, within our egos, we see ourselves as individuals, right? So as we see ourselves as individuals, I can't. It's hard for a person to fathom that the universe itself. When we talk about human beings, or if we're talking about animals, if we're talking about plant life, you're talking about microscopic life, or whatever the case is, all of this stuff are facets of the universe, as opposed to saying that I am within the universe. You can look at it the other way. The universe itself, all the things that we're talking about and referring to, are facets of the universe. So the universe is one giant organism, if you want to look at it that, and all we're referring to are different facets of the actual universe, the features and all the stuff that the universe does or is. If that makes any sense. Right? So look at the universe as a thing itself, and everything within it, or a part of it, whatever, are different facets of the very thing that I'm trying to speak of. And the universe is not just a physical, it's not just a physical thing. It's physical, it's gross, it's astral, it's ether, it's subtle, it's causal, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's non-dual. And then all that stuff together, remember, there's no distinction at the non-dual level. So all those things that I just mentioned, because there are no distinctions, is all one thing. It's all at the same source, and this is where you get the term absolute monism from. It's all at the same one source or singularity. Yet at the same time, it's full of multiplicity of all the different things that are within the universe. Human life, alien life, plants, creatures, rocks, oceans, and the list goes on. Gases, chemicals, everything that you can physically imagine. That's happening on a gross level, but all the other levels are within the different levels of being are all included in that. Now Nathan's got that look like, what's up? Like,
I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in.
oh, okay. From a distance, it looked like you're like. It's the look I get from people all the time.
No, because it's cool. It's cool because like I know like certain again, I'm gonna go back to comic books because that's my best reference.
Oh, dude, do
like,
your thing, bro.
Yeah, they always like mention like certain things, like certain realms and certain things. It's everything and nothing at the same time. And then I don't know, like Doctor Strange. I know this is a bad thing, but they go through all the realms. I know it's not the best depiction,
No,
but
use
it's fun to just like think about it and like how would a certain realm be, and you go through all the things and stuff, and then you come back to this. You come back here like what the hell is this? What kind of? You come back to the gross. Is this the gross level?
the gross.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
gross.
come back and like I want to go back to all the other ones. And just I don't know what I'm talking about.
But you know what though? Even if you were able to go back to the other ones, right? You'd feel the same way. After a while, you're gonna feel the same way and want to come back to this. From God's standpoint, this is mystical. All this stuff that we're like, ugh. From God's standpoint, oh, this is mystical. This is like, wow. Right? It's just a different perspective. Right? Just like when we go over there and we have our experiences on the other side, and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is so sublime. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's this, it's that. How come we don't have hardly any of that stuff here in this realm? Yeah, but if you had it all here, you'd feel the same way. You just get used to it. I'm still in a meditative state, which I fell into. This is back in Stephanie's days that I fell into back when we were doing 9 for the Mind, and I haven't broken it yet. But I don't talk about it much because I'm used to it. It doesn't floor me anymore because I'm in it every day, in and out. I'm in the state when I'm dreaming. I'm in the state when I'm awake. I'm in the state when I'm eating. I'm in the state when I'm playing. I'm in the state if I'm angry and fighting. I'm always in that same state. And after a while, you get used to it. It's just you're just used to it. But I think the moment it's being removed, I'd be like, oh shit, I want that thing back again.
Are we do we take life for granted?
Of course we take life.
Just...
That's where we had to put ourselves in certain situations to realize, oh my gosh, I really have it good here. Let me do the best I can. Let me, take care of my health, or, change my diet or something, and spend more time with family, or whatever the case is. Make more connections with friends and family, or whatever the case is. Romantically, whatever the case is, right? Sometimes you got to be in a down situation to realize that, oh shit, I had it good the whole time. At least for most people. Not everyone could say that, but for most people.
I just like every movie that I watch. You ever watch a horror movie about ghosts?
I haven't watched one of those in a very, very long time. But what about it? I can still relate to it.
It's just that every time you watch those movies, the ghosts are someone's always trying to come back. You ever notice that? Like they're always trying to come back. They're always trying to find a body so they can come back into this realm.
And why? And why do you think? Why do you think they're trying to come back to this realm?
This is so great, but like I guess when you're in it, you just don't realize it until you like you said until you lose it. So it's just kind of weird.
And also think about it too. If ghosts exist, right, and they're in that realm, there's a possibility that they're not tied to the things that we have. Like we're capable of feeling emotions. What if a ghost can't feel emotions, but the ghost is conscious, right? So they can't feel emotions, but the ghost, who used to be in a gross body and was able to feel emotions, was able to have all these different feelings and all the different stuff that comes with that. And then now when they're dead and now they're a ghost, they no longer feel that, but they still have the memories of being alive, and realize in that moment as a ghost that I'm not capable of, I don't know, of affection. And that feels empty to them. So they try to do things within the ghost realm of ways to where they can try to feel some form of affection, but they can't. And they realize the only way to do that is to enter into a human body. I'm thinking fictional. This is out of my realm. I don't know shit about any of that stuff, right? But they need to go to a human body to feel, right? So the whole time when people's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm being possessed by a ghost," and whatever, and it's like, "Oh no, the ghost is like, all I'm trying to do is feel. I don't care what the feeling is, even if it's a feeling of fear. I just want to feel that." And so when the person acts up, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm being possessed by a ghost." The ghost is like, that's all I wanted. So when everyone crowds around the person, starts to get the ghost out of the body and whatever the case is, the ghost is like, no, you don't have to chase me out. I got this. I got the feeling of whatever. I'm good. I'll come back tomorrow and, possess you once again. Like, we have no idea what's going on in that world, if that world exists, right? But maybe the ghost is not trying to harm you in any way. The ghost just wants to feel. Just a perspective, right? If a ghost is not capable, because think about that. A ghost, which in my opinion, the ghost that what people refer to as ghosts, could be one of the subtle bodies that I just mentioned. Remember, I just mentioned there's the physical body, that's our gross body. We have our astral body, we have our ether body, we have our emotional body, our mental body, our causal body, and I may be forgetting one or two, and we have our non-dual body, right? Is it possible then that when you die, right, in this case where a ghost is still stuck in this realm, or I mean on this planet, but they're just not in their physical bodies anymore, right? Is it possible that ghost could be like your astral body or something, or your ether body? I'm not sure which one is which, but either your astral body or your ether body, but it just no longer has a gross body. And so now that ether body is now disconnected from the gross body, which is being buried in the ground or whatever the case is, and is doing whatever it's decomposing and all that stuff, that subtle body doesn't have access to its emotional body, its mental body, its causal body. Of course, it's not connected to its non-dual body, even though from the non-dual body perspective, it is connected because it's all the same thing. But that ether body or the astral body, whichever one is which, isn't connected to those things. Hence why it needs to find a gross body to feel, or hence why that subtle body reincarnates so it can feel again, even if it's bad feelings. Because from the ghost perspective, it doesn't care if it feels positive or negative. It just needs to find a body so it can feel. Once it's in the body and we have an ego, it makes the distinction between what's good, what's a pleasurable feeling versus what's a harmful or bad feeling. But from a ghost perspective, I'm just glad I'm able to feel, because being that neutral, it may not be that pleasant. And also for those, I've done this myself. If you've ever had an experience, I'm not sure if Nathan has done this. Have you ever had experience what they call what do they call it again? Depersonalization syndrome. What is it? Do I have that right? Depersonalization syndrome, disorder, depersonalization disorder.
Depersonal, I'm not sure what that is.
My university degree is limited, so
I could have told you that. Very limited. I think it's called depersonalization disorder, if I have that correct. So if I have the term correct, because I could be wrong with the term because I haven't studied this, is the dark side is spiritual enlightenment's evil twin. So one time years ago, this is probably about 8 years ago, I fell into the state for 3 days. And this state is not a very pleasant state at all. But keep in mind though, when you're in this state, you don't feel either sensation. You don't feel positive sensations or negative sensations. You're just in a body, but you're witnessing everything, but you're not attached to anything at all. You're totally not attached to everything. Right? It's a feeling that I can't even explain. All I can say is you feel like you're dead inside. So you have this physical body, and the physical body does all this stuff. It brushes its teeth, combs its hair, bathes, eats, does all that stuff. And it does everything perfectly. It can go to the mall, it can drive a vehicle, it can do all of that. It can stop at the stoplight, but it feels like there's nothing there. And what you're looking at, there's no attachment to anything that you're looking at whatsoever, what you're witnessing whatsoever. So when I was going through this state, the time that I was going through it was during the Christmas season. So that I remember was during the Christmas season. And I went to see one of my best friends, Tara. Stephanie may have met her before. I went to go see her. I went to go have dinner with her. And I was in this state. She didn't know I was in this state. Nobody could tell that I was in the state. And I did all that stuff while in that state without having any attachment whatsoever. I was totally like dead inside. I was emotionless, everything. And I went, did the whole dinner thing, and then I stayed in that state for an extra 2 days. And then by the third day, I came out of it. And when I came out of that state, I was like, holy shit, that was, I used the word painful, but again, there was nothing could be felt. And I realized in that moment, when you feel absolutely nothing, it's a strange, can't even call it a feeling because it's not even a feeling, lack of feeling. Oh yeah, like this thing is insane. And a lot of people speak about, especially people who meditate, especially people who've meditated for a very long time. Because at that point, I think I was meditating for gosh, 9 years is that 8 years at that point, if I have that right. No, my math is off, but at least 10 years at that point, right? And then going through that, I've never gone through that again. So that was a one-time thing. But I've heard there's other people within our group that have spoken about something like that. Another person in our group that was in our Sight Beyond Sight group talked about being in this for a few months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he even came to me for me to do Reiki on him because this feeling was killing him. This lack of feeling was killing him. Not killing him literally, but just that feeling. It was just very, he needed to get past that feeling. He speaks about it all the time, about when he fell into that state. But it's a very uncomfortable state to be in. But the flip side of that, the goal is to be in that state, but not the evil twin side of it, not the dark side of it, but to be in this state where, again, remember the universe itself is neutral, right? So the goal for you is to get to that state of that state of being neutral as well, so that you're not attached to anything. So that if you're not attached to anything, you can't be harmed by anything because there's no suffering.
So is that state like an apathetic state where you just feel nothing at all? Just
you feel nothing. You feel nothing at all, like nothing, except for you can feel physical stuff. Like if someone touches you, you can feel the touch. But you're not associated. You're not adding any type of value to it or anything like that. someone touches you, like the thing is, this is what people don't realize, that your conscious mind, the limits of your conscious mind. Every time someone touches you, unconsciously, you are adding value or lack of value to that touch. Every time the bottom of your feet touches the ground, you're doing that. Every time you look at anything, you're doing that. Anytime you smell something, you're doing that. Every time you taste something, you're doing that. But when you're in that state, this disorder, all that stuff shuts off. So everything that you associate sound, taste, hearing, sight, smell, all that stuff is shut down. You can still smell, but you don't associate anything to that smell. And again, you're doing this unconsciously. So even right now, you're not even aware that you're doing it unless the smell or whatever that you're looking at is very obvious. Like, you see an attractive person, you see it. It has an effect on you. But when you're in that state, you can't feel that. You just see a person. And then you start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling anything. Or at least I'm not associating anything to that, associating anything to what, I'm not associating anything to my five senses.
So when you look at your wife, you don't feel love, or you don't feel, she's just there.
When you see a baby, all you see is a baby. You don't want to hurt the baby or anything. It's nothing like that. You don't want to take the baby, throw it out on the road, it's not like that. It's just, as you're holding the baby, it's just a baby. And also too, we associate everything with words. So every word that's being said, in your mind, you're putting them into categories, right? Of how you feel and how you, because you give everything value on an unconscious level. Everything has value or lack of value. But in that state, in that disorder, you're not measuring it in any way. It's just there. That's the moment you don't want to win $1 million, because you win the lottery and you can't feel shit.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, you just lose that on
the news reporter comes up to you and is just like, hey, so you won $1 billion. How do you feel? Whatever.
Right. Thanks for me. It lasted 3 days and then it passed, and I was back to normal.
So that's the evil side of enlightenment. So
spiritual enlightenment's evil twin.
So like, does it have like a mustache or something?
So Jin Young, the spiritual master, he came up with that term, or at least that's where I heard it from. But sorry, does he have a mustache? Like one of the long ones? Okay, here's another one I'm gonna throw at you. Tomorrow never comes. All right, just something to think about here, because the reason why I'm bringing that up, because I want to compare that to when someone says, I'm seeking spiritual enlightenment, or I wanted to attain spiritual enlightenment, but there's nothing to attain, right? So let's go back to what I just said. Tomorrow never comes. Because when you say, I'm going to do something tomorrow, what happens the next day? It's today. Right? So it's right? So you never actually get to tomorrow. Tomorrow is always today.
You know what it reminds me of? You know what Kalechi, Kalechi's act?
Yeah.
When he's trying to tell you the joke of the day and then he never gets to it?
Yeah. It's just kind of like that, right? So I'm going to tell you the joke of the day. Tell us the joke of the day. And he never tells you. He never gets to the bit, right? But tomorrow never comes, because tomorrow is always today. And today is always yesterday.
Sounds like the title of a James Bond movie.
It is the title of
it does.
I think so. Tomorrow never comes. Yeah, that's the name of it.
Tomorrow never dies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You got me on that one. You sure there's another movie? I swear there's Tomorrow Never Comes and there's one Tomorrow Never Dies. And probably another Tomorrow's Never Born. I don't know.
Tomorrow never existed. What are you talking about, girl? That's not my tomorrow.
So we got the spiritual James Bond.
Yes.
James Bond the Guru. Today was never born. Wow. But yeah, think about that though. Right? So attaining enlightenment. Well, you can't attain it because it's already here. You already have it.
Okay. That's kind of like with the energy, with the Reiki thing. I wasn't trying to do Reiki. I didn't even know anything about it. And then all this energy is already there. So I
But
guess
that's
everything
different
is
though,
already in
because
you.
it seems like you're born with it.
Oh,
Yeah, it seems like you're born with it. But someone like Nathan, he's starting from zero.
yes.
Hey, and look, I'm not a Super Saiyan, okay? I never had the powers, okay? So you can't I wasn't born on planet whatever. Frieza didn't come, she didn't blow up my planet, It's like, what do you want from my life, man?
Do you hear the subtle diss, Stephanie? He says you were born on another planet. He pretty much says you're an alien.
We're all aliens.
Stephanie